Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John R. and I'm your instructor. In this video, I'm going to cover how to set a gallery bezel. Now, if you're a regular Online Jewelry Academy viewer, you've seen videos on how to make a bezel, how to solder that bezel to a backing plate, and I've even shown you how to drill a hole in the backing plate and make it ornamented so that it's a nice escape hatch if you need to push the stone out of the bezel from behind. I've even shown you how to set a regular bezel, but in this video I'm going to talk about gallery bezels. Now, gallery bezels are great, especially if you're working with a stone that's not that interesting. But there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, you want the gallery bezel to be continuous around the setting. You don't want a little funny jump in the pattern of the actual bezel. So you need to look for those moments where you can nicely saw through the gallery bezel to have the two sides meet up and have the pattern continue all the way around. Now, I've made this piece to take on this piece of onyx. And I'm going to use a very professional tool. This is an Engravers Block. I know you don't have one, and I know you're not going to rush out to buy one, but this is a great stone setting device. And let me show you what I normally tell beginning students to use. I tell them you'll need a small block of wood that has some hot glue on it. You can either apply the hot glue fresh, or you can reheat it up with a small hair dryer just to make it tacky again. And once your setting is secured on this block, you can then hold it in a typical bench vise, or you could get something that's called a pana vise that allows you to access it at different angles. This is a great tool because it will move and spin, and it's just fabulous, but it's a little pricey. But I just wanted to show it to you because it's kind of cool. All right, so all I need to do is just open up the engraving block. I place my setting on top, and then I just need to crank it shut. And a little pressure is all we need. Now I'm using this because I have it, and I spent the money on it, and I want to. So I know you don't have this one around, but you can work up to it, something to aspire to. All right, so it's secure in there. Once you have your piece secure, just take out the key. It'll be in the way otherwise. And I want to put on eye protection. These also have a little bit of a bifocal in them, so they help me see my setting better. Now, normally what I do with some stones, especially if they're little small stones, is I'll use a wax stick to pick them up. But this is a big clunky cabochon, and I can just use my fingertips. Now, you'll notice that the interior of the setting isn't polished. Why? Because the stone is opaque. Nobody's ever going to see the bottom of that bezel cup, so I can get away with it. But if you're using a transparent or translucent stone, be sure to polish the bottom so it acts like a reflector. Another thing to keep in mind is you always want to be conscious of where is the top and bottom of my stone, or the right and the left, especially if you're working with something like a star sapphire or a tiger's eye with that chatoyancy. You want it to move properly when it's on the body. So you would want to orient it to where the bail on the piece is. In this case, I don't need to worry about it. So I'll just place it into the bezel, give it a push down, and it's locked in place. Now I just used my fingers. Some people like to use the heel of a tool. Doesn't matter as long as you get it in there safely without cracking the stone. The operation for setting it is almost exactly the same as any other bezel. What you want to do is use a bezel rocker. And what I recommend is use the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west. So I'll pretend that these are my cardinal points. And what I want to do first is I want to just push the bezel to the stone. Not onto the stone, to the stone. Big difference. Then I'll turn it all the way around. I'll come the other direction. I'll push to the stone. And then I'm going to hit the other two cardinal points the same way. Just pushing the bezel to the stone. Now, why do I keep saying to the stone? Because this is a centering operation. When I push it lightly, it centers the stone in the bezel. Then, once I've got it centered, it's easy enough for me to come back and apply a little more pressure and make sure that the components of the gallery bezel are snug against the surface of that stone. So I just go back and repeat the same beginning 4 steps, only this time I'm adding more pressure. Okay, so once we have these down, then these areas that are a little bit bowed out, they're easy to get. All I need to do is use the bezel as the rocker, like the hobby horse, and rock it over those surfaces. And what's really cool if you have one of these, the tool is built to help you do that, so that I could start this and then just turn the tool. Isn't that nice? I love that. But if you're doing it the old-fashioned way with a block of wood, you're going to use that rocking action. And it's not a bad idea to use it here too. And what we want to do is just rock these little elements, make sure that they're bent over the top of the stone. Now, a good stone setting check that most people say, this is what they say with prong settings, but it's kind of true with a gallery bezel too, because these are like little prongs. It's that these elements should be so well placed against the stone and so tight and so smooth that if you ran that setting over a gentleman's tie, it wouldn't snag it. So let's do this one last area, and we'll rock over it. And there we have it. It's completely set. Now all I have to do is just pop it out, and it's done. And notice I cut out the back in a nice pattern, so it's beautiful if it flops over. I hope you have fun setting your gallery bezels. Remember, you can find all of the Online Jewelry Academy videos on our website at onlinejewelryacademy.com or here on YouTube. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you'd like to support the production of future Online Jewelry Academy videos, you can do that by taking out a subscription on Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/onlinejewelryacademy. Thanks for watching. A little pressure is all you need, just as long as it doesn't want to pull off or out, and that was a mistake.